Previously, in these videos, I introduced myself as Nathan Schmeg, garbage man and candidate for Minnesota House District 15A. I told you who I think you are and told you where you live. I explained that this is a job interview, that you're the interviewer and I'm the interviewee. I've made a few videos answering some questions, which I will be continuing. However, I also promised to ramble on a bit so that you might learn more about the kind of person I am and how I think about life, the universe, and everything. You might find me strange, but that's okay. I find all kinds of things strange. Sometimes strange things turn out to be wonderful. Of course, sometimes strange things can give you food poisoning, so use your best judgment. Let's begin. First, the preservation of the human race and sentient life is the most important thing. All other concerns are secondary. Second, because we don't know what the future holds, we don't know what humanity will need to survive in the future. Therefore, waste is the greatest sin. Alright, that's a lot to drop on you all at once, and it sounds pretty out there, right? Let me explain. I'm a garbage man. I drive truck 5 days a week. I like my job partly because while I'm driving, I'm free to think, to listen to audiobooks, podcasts, and Minnesota Public Radio. I've had these two core principles turn round and round in my head, and they keep making sense to me, so I thought I'd share. Let me clarify the first idea, preserving the human race being the most important thing. As a human being, I know I'm biased, but I think people are pretty great and worth keeping around. We should do our best to preserve the species. In my mind, this does not mean we can always save and preserve every individual, but we should do our best. The needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few or the one, right? Now that's a tricky statement though, because the needs of the many are the needs of the few, or the one. Speaking of needs, we don't know what the future holds, so waste is the greatest sin. What am I talking about here? That's just it. I don't know. You don't know. I remember reading a science fiction story when I was younger. Part of the setup talked about how space travel had become impossible because the global supply of oil had been used up. They didn't need the oil for fuel. Scientists had solved the problem of propulsion for interstellar travel. They needed the oil because oil made the best plastics. Without plastic, they couldn't build spaceships, so humanity was trapped on a poisoned Earth. The point is, we don't know what we are going to need as a species to survive, though we do know that we are damaging the environment for future generations by burning up non-renewable resources, reducing biodiversity and habitat for other species, and polluting the only planet in the universe that we're aware of that can support human life. Every species that goes extinct is a resource people will never be able to call upon again. Ever. So if people are what's most important, we should treat people with dignity, respect, and kindness. If the world and its resources are what sustain and provide for the people we hold so precious, maybe we should treat it with the same dignity, respect, and kindness. But hey, what do I know? I'm just Nathan Schmeg, running for Minnesota House District 15A. Thanks for watching, and I hope I have your support.